Episode number 30 of season 3. Chelsea are in the final, lads. Chelsea are in the final.
You asked during the week, does anyone else want to host the show tonight? I'm really regretting that I didn't say yes.
I'm going to put a fucking out there for you all to do, and you didn't fucking take me up on the opportunity. Lads, I'm fucking buzzing after last night. It's the most nervous I've ever been.
Talking to yourself on the WhatsApp all night.
I know, yeah. No one was responding to me. Nobody entertained me, and it was embarrassing. But we're going to kick off the show, lads. We're looking at the fixtures, obviously, for this week. We have a couple of questions, which we're going to break up the fixtures, and we're going to put the couple of questions up in between. We've the ultimate squad to have a quick look at. Connor, we might just get a quick update, just if there's anything after happening on Connor's Crypto Corner, and then we'll have our tips and our bets. We will be talking about the Man United riots or peaceful protests, whichever side you're on. You can call it whatever you want.
Sorry, did you mention that are we going to talk about the ultimate team this week?
Yeah, I did.
Trashed you.
I did, and I will be calling you out on it, and I'll be exposing you. So, yeah. So
I'm one of the scammers now, am I?
No, that's what it is. I will be exposed, and I want everybody to report you as a fraud and a scam. And anyone that does that gets a €20 bet. So, lads, I will actually be giving away a €20 free bet to somebody because I have been putting up lately on the Instagram page that if anybody does report these people and then send me a screenshot, they'll be entered into a draw for a 20 quid bet. So, lads, we're going to move into the first thing. Premier League review, lads. We have a new little look about us. What do you think? I think it's nice.
It's nice. Very professional.
Right, lads, first game, Friday. We're going to try to keep this in under an hour. We've got 4 of us here, so less opinions. Lads, Friday night. Yeah, Friday night at 8 o'clock, Leicester versus Newcastle. 4-9 for Leicester, 7-2 for the draw, and 6-1 for Newcastle. Melon, what do you reckon on this one? Do you think Leicester are going to take this one handy, as in like they're going to win a handy, or do you reckon that there might be a little bit of fight in Newcastle? Not really that much. I think they're pretty much safe, but what way do you see this one going?
Yeah, I seen Steve Bruce coming out, I think it was today, saying that the Newcastle players are running on empty. So I don't know if that's just the kind of a tactic to take a bit of heat off the players, not kind of raise expectations. But I still, Leicester are probably going to run away with this game. Iheanacho, the form that he's in, he's banging in goals lately. He's kind of overshadowing Vardy as well this season. I know Vardy's had his injuries and stuff, but yeah, for me, Leicester, I'm going to predict 3-0 Leicester.
And goal scorer?
Iheanacho again.
Cool. Connor?
I don't think the prices are justified coming into it, to be honest. I think it's probably based off of, as you said, Newcastle getting themselves out of shit a little bit. A win will, I think, guarantee them safety. I think it'll relegate Fulham with kind of how many few games are left, only 3 afterwards. And Leicester are closer to falling out of the top 4 than Newcastle are to the relegation zone. So I think things have flipped on this in the last couple of weeks. Do I still fancy Leicester having a handy? No. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than what Mellon thinks, but I still fancy Leicester to win. I'm going to say 2-1, and I'm actually going to go with Callum Wilson to score from Newcastle.
Oh, nice one. Paddy, what do you reckon?
Yeah, following on from what man said about the Steve Bruce's comments, I watched them against Arsenal last week, and they've made Arsenal look good, which is some feat in itself. Like, Newcastle were shocking, absolutely shocking. They were terrible. But then Leicester didn't have a great result either. They drew 1-1, wasn't it? Against Southampton, I think.
Yeah.
So I think they'll both score. I think Leicester will edge it though, because I think they have better players, and Newcastle looked terrible last week. So I'm going to go for 3-1 Leicester win, and I'm going to go for Vardy to score first.
I'm really hoping Vardy starts scoring, because I have him in the fucking fancy football, and he's done nothing in the last 2 weeks. So I'm going to go with a Leicester win myself here, lads, as well. And Steve heads. I don't think he has enough to get the win. I reckon it's going to be a 2-1 win. I don't think it's going to be like Connor was saying. I don't think with like Mellon. I think you think it's probably going to be a little bit more comfortable for Leicester. I don't know. I just think it's coming towards the end of the season. Players are kind of. I think Leicester are going to take the foot off the gas. Like, I don't think they're even fearing dropping out of that top 4, which could be their downfall. But I still don't think they are going to. But I still think they're going to get the win here, and I'm going to go with a 2-1 win, and I'm going to say Maddison to score. I think he might get the score sheet. So move on to the next one, lads. Leeds and Tottenham, 12:30 on Saturday morning. 12-5 for Leeds, 13-5 for the draw, and 21-20 for Tottenham. Lads, this is going to be an interesting game. Mourinho, obviously, after getting sacked, recently signed for Roma. So, Paddy, coming to you, what do you make of this one, and what do you make of the Mourinho going to Roma?
I was surprised at the timing of it, like right before a cup final. But I wasn't surprised that they were sacking him because, again, the club was going the exact same way I was seeing United going when he was there, the way it went with Chelsea at his last stint. Yeah. Madrid, it's just what Mourinho does, and now he's going to do the same to Roma. For this game itself, Leeds, they didn't have they made Danny Welbeck with a wonder goal. Anyone see the one, the Brighton goal the weekend?
No, I heard it was a screamer. I actually haven't in my fancy football.
What a goal. 2-0, they got beaten by Brighton. Spurs, Gareth Bale, hat-trick. Great result. If they can get him for... Oh, there's a goal for United. Come on. Sorry. If they can get him for an all-till at the end of the season, and they can get Kane back as well, it could put a bit of pressure on the top teams there looking for Champions League football. But for this game here, I'm going to say a Spurs win. I'm going to go 3-1 to Spurs, and I'm going to go Bale to score first.
Okay, interesting. Just a quick one, lads. Connor is back. Have you guys heard of Mr. Hands and not Google it? Highly recommend you don't Google it. Connor, what do you reckon?
Yeah, similar enough to Paddy. Leeds struggled last week. They didn't play. They've got obviously come off the back of a couple of good results against big teams. Draws against United and Liverpool, comfortable draws at that. Could have had chances to beat both sides, I think, beating City. And then went into the team in the league who are probably struggling to score goals the most of everyone with Brighton, and we're turned over. I fancy Spurs to win. I fancy to be close. I'm still backing Ryan Mason for the job full time. I think he's going to go three. He's going to go 3 from 3 in the Prem.
And is this like the Water Boy? Where in the Water Boy done a good job, so then every team got the Water Boy in. So now they're just getting all players in.
What you need to do is you need to get former players who had to retire at 28 because of a head injury. That's the niche thing you need. Smoking Petr Cech to get involved in as well. But no, I don't know obviously why. They're probably, as I said, they're going to lose Kane, I reckon, in the summer anyway if they can't bring in a high-profile manager.
Do you not think like a Martinez or something like that would suit there? Or like, I know he's at Belgium and stuff like that, but that like Eddie Howe maybe I think there's a bit of talk of Eddie Howe being the potential. That's a good project for him. Like,
I think you'll look at the likes of Daniel Levy, and he obviously has this heightened opinion of what Tottenham Hotspur are as a franchise and as a club and as a football team, and that was obviously evident by them going after Mourinho initially, which everyone I think thought was a bit of a mad move for Mourinho first and foremost, and a mad move for Spurs to get rid of Poch at the time. So I can see him aiming a little bit higher, but maybe falling to somebody like Eddie Howe. But I think he's going to be looking at, like, the thing I saw in the paper earlier was Antonio Conte in talks. Now I don't know why Conte would leave a team that he's won his first Serie A with, and their first Serie A in 11 years. But that's what I'm saying, and I think that's kind of where Daniel Levy positions Tottenham Hotspur as a club. On the result, fancy Spurs to win. It's going to be tight. I'm going to go 2-1, and I'm going to go with Heung-min Son.
Very good. Alan?
Yeah, similar to what Paddy was saying, like about Bale being back in form. banging in a hat-trick. Like, he took his goals really well. And Harry Kane, actually, out of the 3 strikers, was the least involved. So when you have Harry Kane kind of not doing a whole lot and to come back in as well, like, you're talking about Spurs challenging for the top 4. I honestly think, though, the top 4 is settled now. That's the way it's going to stay.
Yeah, have you seen Chelsea's run in though? It's not easy. Like Chelsea have City
are
next week.
like.
I know, but they're gonna be concentrating on that Champions League as well. Like, so they're gonna be trying to protect players as much as they can for that game.
If Liverpool get 4th and Chelsea win the Champions League, Liverpool don't get a place, do they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Yeah, so the way it works is if Liverpool, if Man United win if Man United win the Europa League and Man City win the Champions League, Liverpool have to finish 5th and they'll get a Champions League spot. So that's how it is. But
maximum 5 clubs per
league. Even for Liverpool finishing 5th, it's kind of highly unlikely at the minute. But for Spurs, yeah, I think it's more of a story now for Ryan Mason to kind of showcase himself. As Connor said, they're going for 3-0. Leeds, they always put it up against the top team, so I don't expect Spurs to run away with the game. But I do think Spurs will probably just nick it. I'm going to go 2-1, and I will go Harry Kane.
Okay. Yeah, I've kind of gone with a draw here, lads. It's just that thing with Tottenham. I just feel like they're renowned bottlers, and they just, whenever you think they're going to get a result, they just
Spurs it up.
Yeah, they just do a Spurs, like. So I don't think there's going to be anything different with this week. So I'm going to say there's going to be goals as well, and I'm going to say Bale is going to score, and I'm going to say Bamford goal as well. So I'm going to go with 2-2. So whoever gets the other 2 goals, I don't know. But that's what I'm going with. Just another comment in from Connor. Tongdad, I'm sure he means Togdad, was at the riots. And
Tongdad is his alpha.
And he follows me on Instagram. Fair play.
Just on the Spurs on there, sorry, the manager position. What do you think of Benitez potentially getting in there?
Actually, not a bad shout. Yeah, like it's he's managed at so many fucking clubs in England that, well, not like he's managed at Chelsea and fucking Liverpool, but like another top 6 club, like, yeah, it wouldn't be a bad shout. I
don't think Mason's going to get the position.
I think it'd be good enough for him. I don't think Spurs will take him though.
No.
I don't know. Like he's won stuff, like, so that's what they need. They're I suppose Mourinho did as well. It is an interesting one, but
Sarri
is an interesting one.
They might go for Sarri.
He's already Juventus still, isn't he?
Yeah, no, Pirlo's in charge.
Shit, yeah. Where's he gone?
Because Sarri was supposed to go to Roma. He was the favourite.
Oh yeah, fuck. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one.
The Siggies would have to be good up near Spurs.
Yeah,
corner shop.
Yeah, they have to bring
they should be able to get tax-free ones and all now because they're not part of the EU.
Yeah, man, that's a good shout with Benitez. I don't know where he's based.
Sorry, down to Holyhead every day.
But he's sticking the feelers out there. I saying again today, he's talking about wanting to get back into the Premier League. So
Benitez still lives in Liverpool. He still lives in England.
Yeah, he was managing in China there recently.
But he hasn't. His family never relocated, so his family are still based out at Liverpool or Chester.
So that's just looking at it there, right? Rafa Benitez is 16-1 to be next manager. Brendan Rodgers is actually favourite at 3-1. I don't know why he would come in.
He committed last week to Leicester.
Yeah,
he already said it.
Doesn't make sense. Why would he go from Leicester, who are qualifying for the Champions League, to fucking
Super League, man? Super League.
Yeah, and then Scott Parker.
I think Spurs would be a bigger job, though.
Yeah. So it's Brendan Rodgers, Scott Parker, and then Nuno Espirito.
Nuno's not a bad shout now. Scotty Parker won't take it. He hasn't got the credentials, I think, that to match what I mentioned there with like what Daniel Levy wants from a manager.
Yeah. Eddie Howe is there, but he's around 18-1. So no clear favourite really, to be honest with you. So look, we'll move on, lads. We'll also bring in a late comer, and we have War joining us. War, what's happening?
It's the first time I've ever been called a late comer, hey?
Hey!
He's been sitting on that for the last hour.
Yeah. Lads, we'll move on. We'll just get a quick score prediction and goal scorer on this one. So we'll come to you first, seeing as you're only in. Sheffield United and Crystal Palace. Can we get a score prediction and a goal scorer, please?
I'm going to go 2-0 Palace and Eze. Is that how you say his name for first goal scorer?
Yeah. Connor?
1-1 Dave McGoldrick.
Paddy?
1-0 Palace, Zaha.
Mal?
1-1 and Jordan Ayew.
Lads, I have gone with a... Let me tell you now. Come on. Check my connection.
Oh, here we go. Paddy, you might end up posting afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't get onto there. It's up to close now, but I'm pretty sure I went for a draw. And I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. And I'm going to say Zaha as well, because I think he might get a couple of goals. He's obviously got a double week in the fantasy football. So I was actually looking at bringing him in, and I think he might score a few goals this week. So
I think he'll be looking for a new club as well.
Yeah, well, that's what he's going to want to showcase himself, isn't he? Because I do think a new club is probably on the cards for him at this stage. Like, there is talk of Roy Hodgson retiring after this season as well.
I heard 11 of the first team
White
squad
Hodgson
are out of
retiring.
contract at the end of the season. And Roy Hodgson is.
Palace have a massive issue with players' contracts this year, yeah.
11 first teamers.
I'm convinced that Palace thought they were getting relegated, and that's what it didn't put people into new contracts. The same thing that happened when Newcastle got relegated all those years ago, and they had these ridiculous salaries to pay out when they were in the Championship. I'm convinced that that's what Palace thought. So they just kept people and let people run out.
Yeah, interesting. So sorry lads, I did go with a draw. My connection's back on scale bit there. So I went with a draw 1-1. I'm going to say Zaha. So lads, we're going to move on to obviously the game of the week here. Preview of the Champions League final. Water, I don't know if you've seen it at the start, but we entered this episode with the Champions League team. And it was fucking unbelievable because we're in the final. Yeah, so that was good. Lads,
nice. Didn't see it.
Can I just say, right, half 5 on Saturday, Chelsea are 3-1 here to win this game. Man City 10-11. The draw is 5-2, and Chelsea 3-1. Lads, I think right now I've gone with a draw. I'm sorry, I've gone with City to beat Chelsea, but I do think that this could well easily be a mind game thing with Pep and be like, fuck it, let them win for the crack, and make them fucking.
If they win.
Yeah. What?
They'll not win the league if they win.
Yeah, if they win, Collie, they're going to
don't
wrap
think-
up the league this week.
But if they beat
Mind
Chelsea
games.
bad, it just gives Chelsea an excuse to win in the final.
Yeah, exactly. And if they
Chelsea
want
needs an excuse
still
to
have
win in
to
the
go out
final.
and
That's an
beat
absolute joke.
No, but more
mind
of an
games,
ex- like you know
mind
what I
games,
mean?
lads.
You know, like these finals are down to percentages.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Is it
Where
not
I think
a
City.
Collie,
Is it not
you're just making
tactical
excuses for the weekend there.
I'm just saying.
No, but,
I'm
like,
actually
you
saying
don't-
Chelsea are going to win. Like I'm saying,
You just
saying
said
Man
Chelsea
City
wouldn't
will throw
win.
in.
You just said City were going to beat Chelsea.
In me bet, I put City to win, but I'm just saying that like
can't
City
cover all
could
of them.
potentially just say, right, fuck it, let's let them win, like just as a mind fuck, like for them, like, and give them a false sense of confidence because we've already beaten them in the FA Cup, and now we're playing them in the Champions League final. Obviously,
Well, they're
this
fucked
game,
now, Paddy, because you're after giving the game away.
yeah,
Yeah, guaranteed.
Can't be watching this later. Yeah. Lads, anyway, we're moving into this one. Paddy, what do you think on this match here?
Fascinating stuff, like considering the way the Champions League has gone this week. I didn't actually realise until we start preparing for the show tonight that this game was happening the weekend. I'm gonna go for a draw because
Neither of them are playing, Collie.
they're not playing. Yeah,
One of them for the ruin the club.
although
this
Terry
season.
will show up at the trophy with his full kit on Monday.
Yeah.
He's already put an order in JD Sports looking for a full kit.
extra large now. He's a fat fuck.
Hey. He's a fit
I'm gonna go for the draw. I'm gonna go for a 2-2 draw, and I'm gonna go for Sterling to score first. I hope it's a draw again as a good setup for the final.
Yeah. Sorry, Melon. Sorry about that.
I think City go out and are going to bash Chelsea.
You entitled to your opinion?
He's also frozen.
Just like they will in the final, do you think?
I think they're going to beat Chelsea comfortably at the weekend and show exactly what's going to happen in the Champions League final. I don't think there's. I don't think Pep is going to be, or is the manager to say, right, let's let Chelsea win here and give them a false hope for the Champions League final.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
It's an awful excuse, Collie, that you've just come up with there.
It's not an excuse.
It is. It is.
I've literally put down City to beat us in the bet. I'm just saying, is it possible that this could be a tactical thing? Like, he is a genius. He's a fucking tactical genius. Is this where he now, like, no one would expect it? It's a mind game.
So go and finish the Premier League, win that, wrap it up, and focus for the next couple of weeks on the Champions League final. That's
they're going to win it either way.
Rest all your players right up to the final, or give them a break here and there. They're proper tactics, not let a team beat you to give them.
Well, look, they're playing Newcastle next week. Then they're playing Brighton. Then they're playing fucking in the last game of the season. They're playing Everton at home. So, like, I mean, like, they're gonna wrap it up in one of them games either way. Like,
why not do it at Chelsea and let them see what they're in for in the Champions League final?
Well, they know Chelsea know what they're in for. We beat them in the FA Cup, like, you know. That's all the one.
City. I'm gonna go with City win here, and I'm gonna go with 3-1.
Yeah, like, what gives you the right to think we're going to concede 3 goals? Like,
it's Man City. You're coming up against. I think they rested 8 players in that FA Cup.
Like, that's bollocks, because they have 22 fucking first team players. So this whole thing of them resting players doesn't exist because they rotate and they all play as much.
That's their entitlement for having just a quality squad.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, though.
Like,
so to say
they're resting players, they did rest players.
No, but to say they're not. To say they're resting players, they rest players every week because every single one of them has a right to be in the starting 11. So to say they put out a weakened team, it's bullshit. The odd player or two, like if they want to play Diaz, right, maybe that weakens some of it, or De Bruyne, maybe. But they still have players well capable.
They have
played Zach Stefan against you. The fucker doesn't even know the rules.
It's quality.
Taking the back passes.
Collie, West Brom scored 5 against us there like a few weeks ago.
Who was in charge?
Man City aren't going to score 3.
Remember, you got beaten 5-2 after the international.
Yeah, but like,
break?
let's be honest, like that doesn't count.
Well, hang on, did you say who was in charge? Because it was more likely to happen with Frank because he was shy.
See, I block out all the bad shit. See, all this negativity, lads. I'll just batten it away here. Like, I don't want any of your negativity here. Can we just say how good Mendy is? Did you see his save for fucking Benzema's shot? Connor, you can appreciate that.
Now, Collie. He's a bit dodgy.
Would you stop it?
He is. He's up there.
Yeah, have you ever seen with the ball at his feet?
24 games or something he's played under Tuchel or whatever it is, fucking, and he has like 17 clean sheets.
What happened before Tuchel?
What
happened before Tuchel?
He still had clean sheets.
Did he?
A lot of clean sheets.
Aaron Fletcher had more clean sheets than him.
Melon, so what have you gone with?
I'm going to go 3-1 City and Phil Foden score first.
Don't think he'll play. Connor, what do you reckon?
I do agree with you in the case that I can't see City or I can't see Chelsea conceding 3 goals purely because Tuchel plays with a bank of 5. We saw it last night in evidence of when anytime Real broke forward, there was a bank of 5 sitting there, and that's what made it so difficult to break down. And he does that well against teams that are again in games where they're probably not as fancied to win it. He'll play a bank of 5. He'll limit chances in behind the back and then hopefully score on a counter attack or score on a break, which they got most of their chances last night against Real. I know Real had played with basically 2 at the back for most of the game for some bizarre reason, even though they only needed 1 goal. But I see it being closer. I still see City seeing this as a game where they can wrap the league up and spend the next 3 weeks, 2 weeks and 2.5 weeks focusing on Champions League final. And again, resting past those 22, giving players who haven't got run-outs. So yeah, I'm going to go with City 1-0. And I'm going to agree with Mel, and I'm going to say Foden to score.
Okay, and what?
I think it's not that the fact someone said earlier that they're going to let Chelsea win, but it's not going to be the same. They're not going to play the exact same tactics in this game as what they're hoping to play in the Champions League final, because you don't show your best hand before the right play. So I think it's just going to be Pep is just going to go out with a team he feels like winning the game with a certain tactic, And I wouldn't be surprised if he plays something completely different tactic-wise against Chelsea. Because like they have people looking at this game in weeks. They know how to play against different teams. I see City just wrapping it up. It'll probably be a 1-0 win. But Chelsea are hard to beat. So it's going to be close.
So who are you going with? Goal scorer?
Goal scorer. I'm going to go with Diaz. Probably be a set piece.
Man, what are you laughing at?
I just looking at your face every comment that comes in. It's Colley's disgusted with all the predictions going against.
No problem. Like, because like I said, I did do in the bet that I think that you're going to win. Like, they are a good price to win. Like,
I think the Champions League, it doesn't have the same surprise factor when it's two teams in the same league. You know how they play, you know how they set up in big games throughout the season. How City played against Chelsea before in the league. How Chelsea played against United and Chelsea and Liverpool or whatever else throughout the league as well. You don't have that. It's not like all of a sudden you're facing a Munich side where you've never played before. You've only played them once in a year. So
you don't know. It's easier to gauge their physical strength.
But it won't.
They're going to feel each other out across the season anyway. They're going to know who they've played against and be able to relate who they've played against. So I don't think it's going to be... City aren't all of a sudden going to revert to Route 1 football and play off of Fernan Torres up front. We know how they're going to set up. We know how Chelsea are going to set up to counter it a little bit more defensively. I just don't. The final will come down to. I think it's where Tuchel will show his class a little bit because I can't predict the final result, but be a little bit more defensive, obviously because that's what Chelsea do well, and use that pace in behind City and hope that the only person like obviously Ruben Diaz is going to have an on day because. It's all he does at the moment is have an on day. But hope you get an off day from Zinchenko. Hope you get an off day from Walker or Stones, whoever it is. But he loses temper.
Yeah, it doesn't really get sent off much though.
You remember the stat he had when he first came?
Yeah. He had
a 100% win rate. Every time he started, like it was just fucking ridiculous, and it was over like 30 odd games, and you're just like, holy shit!
I think I got 31 games he had played and won for City.
Fucking ridiculous, like.
Yeah. So score prediction and scorer. You probably gave it to me, Connor.
Oh me? Yeah, I said 1-0 on Foden, and I said 1-0 on Diaz.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Who did I not get? Did I get a prediction off you, Paddy?
I think.
Yeah, I went for 2-2.
All right, and goal scorer?
I can't remember now, but I'll go for Aguero.
All right, sorry.
I think Aguero was going to score in the final.
I did say Aguero was going to score last week, and he did score. Just saying, just throwing out there. I'm just throwing out there. Yeah, lads, look, going off the City game for a second and on to Chelsea and Madrid. Really impressed with Chelsea and how they played against Madrid. Madrid kind of dominated possession in the first half, but Chelsea looked so dangerous on the counter-attack, and even like the likes of Mount there, Jesus Christ, he's a lot better than I thought he was. Like he's really shown how much potential he actually has now at the moment, and he is like kind of
him and Foden in it.
Oh yeah, unbelievable. Like, but like thing is, can they play together? I think so. Foden's gonna usually play pretty much out on the left, isn't he? See him a lot out on the left. And
like that whole can they play together shit didn't work for the old England team is because they didn't get on with each other.
Exactly.
They're all friends now. They're all mates. Yeah. You know what I mean? They'll make it work.
I think what Chelsea did well last night was they found a weakness early on. They exploited it. Vinicius Junior is not a right forward, and you shouldn't be playing on the right side of a back three.
And do you know what the thing was though? They done the same thing. They done the same thing in the first leg where it was actually Marcelo was getting caught out so much, like, and it was like so open. And I don't know if he's watched that first leg, but it was the very same thing where Chelsea just kept catching them on the counter, and it's because they're just pressing so high. And I think I don't know if you were watching it on. I think it was BT. I think it was Robbie Savage or something like that. We kept saying like no Real Madrid player was like running into the box or running in behind. Every single one of them wanted to come short and get the ball. Like even Eden Hazard, like Hazard wasn't making runs behind or anything like that.
Speaking of that, actually, Mbappe is moving closer to Real Madrid now. I was reading a story today.
Really?
Yeah.
I think
that's the type of player they need. I think. You know, again, for playing
Europe as well.
It's not a step down for him though at the moment.
Huh?
Yeah.
It'd be a bit of a step down, do you not think?
From PSG?
You see the way PSG played the other night?
No.
But Real Madrid to me are an Asian
Madrid is always
team.
one of the biggest pulls in the world. Like, Definitely.
I think Real Madrid lost that game in the midfield because they didn't have anyone to counter Jorginho and Kante in the middle. Like, Kroos isn't going to track. Modric isn't going to track. That's why it's suited them to play against Liverpool, because Thiago's not going to make Bolton runs 40 yards.
Well, you have Casemiro there, like Casemiro.
He doesn't have wheels. You know?
He's in the position.
How many times did Kante glide past him?
Kante is
glide past
though.
the tree. That's what I'm saying. Playing against the likes of Thiago and Fabinho when they played Liverpool suited them, because not a lot of drive going forward. Fabinho likes to sit. Thiago doesn't run. He obviously has the passing game instead, and that's where it suited them, where they had the players in midfield with Chelsea, where they had a little bit of legs. They have the freedom to move forward, and that's where they got the goal from. Just glided past midfield, took on the two centre halves, and then laid balls in around the corner. Do you know?
Honourable mention for Timo Werner and fucking Kai Havertz yesterday, because I've been saying it for the last couple of weeks. They're really starting to show a bit a glimpse of fucking hope. And
finish.
Oh, fucking unbelievable! Like, so
for as much shit you talked about Timo,
well, like that is a dream.
You look at his stats at the end of the season, and it'll actually look like he had a good season.
But you know what the thing is, Paddy? They keep saying, "Oh, he's the biggest flop. He's the biggest flop." He's the first player since 2012 or something to have like 10 goals, and fucking 12 assists or something in his first season. Yeah. So like, how bad of a season is it? Like,
no, it's not. I've always rated him.
He's just missed. You know what makes it worse? And in fairness, Paddy, actually have always said it that he is good, but the one thing that kind of takes it away from him is he misses so many sitters. But he's getting in the right positions for all these chances, and he's assisting a lot of goals. But again, it's these like little sitters that fucking he keeps missing that.
Like, if this is him on a bad season, God help all the rest of the teams on a good season.
Yeah, but so I just think look, I could go through every fucking player on Chelsea last night. They were all quality. Jorginho for me, I thought was going to fucking throw it away, because he done it in one of the games. Can't remember who it was against, but he was at fault for like 2 or 3 of the goals. And I was like, oh, he's a fucking nightmare. Like, but no, he held it together. Like, getting booked so early for him is a fucking disaster as well. Like, because he's a red card waiting to happen with that. Like, but we'll move on, lads. Because again, like I said, we are
for you, Collie.
What?
You give us a score prediction?
Yeah, I'm going to give you one. I'm really torn in between it. So because
I have City, you're a cop out. If you say
no, I have City in my bet. I do have City in my bet, because, like I was saying, I was like although I'm thinking like, are they going to throw the game? Like, I actually don't think they're going to do that. Like, but that was just something I was wondering about. Like, but I see it being a draw. But I've gone with City in the bet. But I'm going to say a 1-1 draw. And I'm going to say, who am I going to say? Because I'm trying to think, because I don't think they're all going to really play. Like, Pulisic might start. So if Pulisic starts, I'm going to go Pulisic to score. Will be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. We'll move on, lads. Next game is Saturday, 8:15, Liverpool against Southampton. 2-7 for Liverpool, 19-4 for the draw, and 9-1 for Southampton. Lads, we won't spend too long on it. I don't think there's a lot to cover on Liverpool this week. Not much has been happening. Melon, we'll go to you first. Anything you need to say? We'll get a score prediction and a goal scorer. But if you need to throw anything in, or you want to highlight, just throw it in now.
No, I'll just go straight into prediction. I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool, and I will go with Thiago to score first.
Connor?
Yeah, nothing to say about Liverpool. They haven't played since last week when I hammered them anyway after playing against Newcastle. So nothing really to update on it. I'm going to go right. So I've done the 3 goal scorer bet, right? And I'm shocked that he's not saying it, but I had put Thiago in it as well. So I'm gonna go 1-0. I'm gonna say Thiago.
Paddy.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna go for 1-1. I just think Liverpool are shocking, and gonna go for Salah, first goal scorer.
Yeah, okay.
Who's gonna score last?
Liverpool still need West Ham and people to start dropping points, so I think it's going to be an easy win. Probably go 2-0 Liverpool, and let's go with Fabinho to score a header.
We're all kind of obscure here.
I mean, Fabinho to score was enough. Well, you've gone with the header as well. Like.
Oh my god!
You really put it out there. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I do think Liverpool are going to win. And spoiler alert, lads, this match might be in me 10 to 1,000. Ooh, we will see. So I'm going to go with Liverpool to win, and I'm going to say 3-1. And I'm going to go with Firmino to score. Lads, that is Saturday's game is complete. So we're going to go into our next little section just to break up the fixtures, and that is
what a handball by Maguire.
That's a shocker, isn't it?
Was
it given?
What a handball!
It wasn't a handball, no way. He
typical.
kicked it against his own hand. His hand, all right, but he kicked it against his own hand.
It wasn't
Right,
given.
lads, we have we're in the question section here, and we've 3 questions that I want to have a look at. So we've been sent in this one here from the Flying Save. Oh wait, who do you think will get top 4? Again, I think we're confirmed on the top 3. Maybe I think Leicester, City, and United are confirmed there. 4th, maybe the only
I know where you want this to go.
questionable one. So I'm going to go to someone else first. I want to go to you, Connor. I want to know what you think on this one.
It's City, United, Leicester, Chelsea. That's where it's going to finish.
That's where it's going to finish.
The only one that outside chance, depending on where Chelsea's focus goes over the next couple of weeks, start dropping points, would be the likes of
Liverpool.
Spurs.
Stop it.
Dave. I don't see that at all. Like they're 5 points behind. I suppose like Liverpool don't really stand a chance, do they? Like,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah. And you don't think West Ham like if West Ham get through Everton?
I know we've been saying I've been saying that the West Ham have to have a blip in form some stage, and in fairness, they've missed out on a couple of games. They have dropped points here and there, but they've not gone into a run, bad run. I still think they will struggle to pick up maximum points from here on out, which I think is kind of what anybody who isn't in the top 4 at the moment needs to do. So yeah, I'm still fancying Chelsea to take that 4th spot, and as you said, the other 3 to be safe. I think Chelsea may actually finish 3rd, to be honest, and Leicester could finish 4th. But I can't see them dropping out outside of it.
Melon, do you think same? Or I think you said it earlier, did you?
Yeah, I think the top 4 is going to stay the way it is. Like in fairness, like Connor said, I was saying the same for the last, I don't know, month, 2 months, that West Ham are going to start dropping down the league, and they just haven't. I don't know what it is. Whatever way Moyes has them playing, like
it was like that season with Leicester, wasn't it, when they won the league? Where
there's always a team, like a mid to lower table team who kind of have a decent season and get up into the European spots, but they always fade away.
Sheffield United being one. Yeah,
like West Ham just haven't disappeared, and I think if anybody's going to knock maybe Chelsea or Leicester out of the top 4, it'll be West Ham. I don't think Spurs will. And I think Liverpool are kind of finished with the Champions League. I think the best they can hope for is maybe 5th.
European Conference.
Yeah. Just a quick one. I'm looking at the table there, and Liverpool. You're saying Spurs, but Liverpool go ahead of Spurs by 1 point if they have a game, because they have a game in hand. They win it. Like.
They have to win it though. That's been the problem recently.
You can't write them off, then, can you? Really?
I wouldn't say write them off, but I'd fancy Spurs to go on a run at the end of the season more than I'd fancy Liverpool to go on a run at the end of the season.
Yeah. What do you reckon? Do you reckon the same as is, or?
Yeah. It's a fair point to say what Chelsea's priorities will be. Do they focus on top 4, secure it, or do they just really focus on winning the Champions League and getting it that way? I thought Leicester were going to drop out They had a few bad results, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, a few in a row, but they've kind of rallied again and are playing well. Iheanacho has kind of taken them out of that hole. It's just banging in goals now for fun. I think it's going to stay the way it is. The only team I see with an outside chance is actually Liverpool, and that's just because they have so much quality. Like I can't see West Ham doing it. I'm not going to say they're starting to fade, but they're looking a little bit more leggy now.
Yeah.
And then who else is there? Tottenham. Tottenham are a joke. They're not going to do it.
Do you not think it's mental to like pin all your hopes on a one-off game? So for Chelsea to kind of prioritize the Champions League final over getting top 4, is that just not madness? When
I would have
when
thought
you're
it was
going up
madness.
against Man City,
I've seen Mourinho do it. I've honestly seen Mourinho do it for United when we were in the Europa League final.
Yeah,
the way he played his team.
Completely.
like if you're talking Champions League football, like there's no right. Fair enough if you're coming up against, I don't know, like a Madrid in the final. Madrid are beatable. They're not the same Madrid side that you've seen years ago. To prioritize the Champions League football or the potential Champions League football next year on a one-off game in a final against Man City, I think that's madness. And I don't think Tuchel is the type of manager that's going to prioritize just one game. He's going to want to get Champions League football because it comes to the summer. It's also
winning
as well.
Champions League, Melon. Like you're not just going for Champions League qualification through that game. You're also focusing on winning that game.
You're in prime position to get Champions League football next year with the current position you're in the league. To sacrifice that for a one-off game where you potentially win the Champions League and get qualification through it, I just think it's madness, and I don't think he's going to do it, especially with Champions League football. If they qualify, what that brings them in terms of transfer targets, and like there's all sorts involved in getting top 4 football rather than pinning all your hopes on a.
I'm not saying play is under 18s like for the rest of the Premier League. I just mean
I know.
There's gonna be that little, you know, there's gonna be that bit of protection that he's going to try putting the players, and I think that's just gonna be natural because, like, although you're saying like you can't put it all on one match, like they literally play the whole Champions League to get to this one match. So like by not having it in your mind and not sort of protecting your squad is stupid. Like you have to protect your best players coming up to that game. Like that's the reason you play in that competition.
Surely you're not going to sacrifice it that much.
You're not sacrificing. They're not going to sacrifice points, or they're not going to sacrifice like not playing someone for 90 minutes. But they are going to probably start taking players off in the 60th minute, start taking players off in the 70th minute. A little bit, like just a little bit of protection here and there. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not going to be a full sacrifice where like maybe if like Chelsea are drawn 0-0, you would have thrown on say Werner if he hasn't started, but maybe this time you just don't, and maybe you just throw on Tammy Abraham, like, and you give him the minutes instead. Like you don't not necessarily sacrifice, but you make different decisions because you are still trying to focus on that one match as well. Which at the end of the day, that one match can get you what you're trying to get in them 4 matches that are left, as well as the trophy.
It's different as well. You got to look at the way Tuchel is going to play those kind of games against the big sides, where it's going to be draining on the players who are playing the centre of midfield and out wide, where I think everyone else kind of going to have a little bit more respite than the likes of Liverpool's side. Doesn't have the same quality in certain positions, and they end up having to work harder, and that's where they get leggy, and that's where they get tired, and that's where they need the recovery. I think you look at who is going to be running to the ground, and you'd be happy enough to say Kante can be running to the ground every day of the week, and he's going to turn the next day fully fit. Not 100% on Jorginho, and beside him in regards to like the same intensity or the same
Billy
ability.
Gilmore has been kind of coming in there a little bit as well.
They have the ability to replace that and not lose too much quality. And again, they do have Chelsea have the quality out wide, whether that's defensively in a 5 or wide going forward with Ziyech, Havertz, Pulisic, if you want to play Werner wide and play Tammy up front, or if you want to play Giroud up front, they still have that ability to rotate a little bit in those positions where they have legs. And playing three at the back means your centre halves aren't overworked, so you can still play Thiago Silva every week at his age. You can still play Rudiger not at his age, but you can still play him week in, week out, whether it's the league or the Champions League final, and know he's still going to be fit. It's not like Liverpool where your fullbacks are gone, your fourth and fifth choice centre halves are ran ragged week in, week out, and all of a sudden then there's injuries being picked up or whatever it might be. So I think
the squad depth is a lot better, I think, for Chelsea, and they're going to be able to deal with that a lot better.
The style of football and the way Tuchel likes to play suits a big time. It's not a Klopp Gergen press, which has obviously destroyed the squad. Or it would be the same. It would be the same with Pep. The way it's that high pressure, high intensity game for 90 minutes. It is that kind of not Mourinho style, but it is we'll play, we'll turn the tempo on when we want to, and until then we'll soak it up. So I think that'll help them focus on both at the same time. They won't go out and, as you said, Collie, as Walter said, they won't go out and intentionally lose games with playing second strength.
They won't need
to. I don't think they won't.
They're just going to show that bit of extra caution, and do what they need to do.
As you said, they go 1-0 up the last 30 minutes. They might
take someone off like that,
just in case he scores a goal or something.
Paddy, what do you reckon? You reckon top four is going to stay as is?
No, I can see West Ham just popping in ahead of Chelsea. Because West Ham, for the last run in the games, West Ham's average team placement to play against is like 17th or 18th. Like they have an easy run in compared to the rest of them. So what's he waving his arms about there for?
Oh, I'm going mad because Roma are back in this bleeding game. Come on, Roma.
You're winning 2-1.
But I'm going to go for
sitter as well.
Yeah, I think West Ham might just pip Chelsea again because Chelsea will have the Champions League in mind coming to the last game or two of the season. If West Ham can obviously keep up what they've been doing, but they do have a much easier run than Chelsea. If Liverpool win their game in hand, they'll still be behind West Ham, and I can't see Liverpool winning every game the rest of the season. They still, So I'm going to go for West Ham to pop into the top four.
So are you saying Chelsea aren't going to win?
Is if West Ham get in instead of Leicester.
Yeah.
But I do see West Ham taking one of the spots.
Okay.
Or maybe I'd just like to see it.
Yeah.
My God.
Right, lads, we're moving on to the next question, right? We spent a bit of time on this, so we're going to try just quick little thing. So this was sent in by Jordan Murphy. Is Pep Guardiola overrated as a coach? He always kind of got this when he was at Barcelona, obviously having Messi and stuff like that. Came to City, and it was questionable at the start because he had a poor kind of season or two. Was it maybe 1.5 seasons? Then he started turning things around.
He went to Munich won the Champions League.
Yeah, went to Munich as well. Again, but he kind of went into a Munich team that had just won the treble, I think it was at the time. So there was always that thing where he's walking into all these great clubs and winning all these trophies are pretty much easy for him. But I think what he's done at City is pretty unbelievable. So I'm going to say he's not overrated. Lads, will anybody disagree with me on that one?
No, but I think you have to answer the question: a coach and a manager, because they're two different things. And I think
but you won't see the coaching side of things, really, will you?
But I think the way he coaches the players, he's one of the managers out there that coaches the players more than any other manager. Like I'd say,
managing the players.
No. Well, the manager would manage the rest of the club as well, manage the next 10 games. And I'll speak about it when I'm speaking about the riots and the state of Manchester United later on, because it's something that was in my head about managers and about the influence they actually have on a club. Yeah. And Pep brings this calmness to every job he's in. All the players seem to. It's very rare you hear of players not liking to play for Pep. And it's been a long time now. And you can talk about he's been gifted with the best clubs in the world and the best players in the world, but you've seen some other managers going into these clubs and not doing nearly as good a job. He has Man City as up there now. If they win the treble this year, they'll probably do more next year, the year after. One of the best English teams of all time.
Definitely.
To keep this run going, and
Yeah.
Could somebody else other than Pep have done that? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Right, lads, we are going to start. We're 50 minutes in. We are going to start moving these along. So, has anyone else something to say on the Pep thing? Just real quick, yourself.
I just had a quick one to throw at both United fans there. What did you think? What do you think of the comments that Gary Neville made in terms of Pep, that he could potentially be the greatest manager ever? Would you that's overtaking Fergie as well? What do you think on that?
If he wins the Champions League, obviously with City, and maybe wins it again, and he probably, I'd say he's going to win another 2 or 3 times before he retires. He'll definitely be the best manager of all time, I think. Yeah, probably. Like for what he's doing at City as well, I can't see him going anywhere else. If he sticks it out at City and evolves the team, which he's already recycled the team a couple of times, or once now, and anyway, he came in, it was a different team than it is now. And he successfully rebuilt the team, which is one of Ferguson's biggest achievements at United. He's done it like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah. And
that's what Pep is doing now, and it's the sign of a really, really good manager. And I think I wouldn't argue with somebody if they said he was as good or better than Ferguson when he retires, because it's hard to pick. They're 2 amazing managers, It's my view, isn't it?
Right, lads, I think that was a unanimous kind of, he's not overrated there. We'll move into the next one, and this was sent in by Abraham Collins. So, what do you all think of Abraham Glazer's interview, in inverted commas, refusing to talk about United? I'll aim it at War, and I'll aim it at Paddy. We'll get 2 quick opinions on it, and then we're moving back into the games, because there's a few to get through. It
wasn't really an interview. Your man had pulled up in traffic, and this press fella just ran up to his fucking car asking him questions. So I can't blame the fella for not answering the questions to it. He's obviously got a lot of backlash off it. He still hasn't apologized, and he won't apologize. Like, at the end of the day, this is we've been dealing with this for how many years? They do their own thing. They're living over the other side of the water. They don't give a shit. I think Paddy will probably share the same opinion.
Paddy?
Are we going to discuss what happened the weekend and the state of United within the podcast?
Yeah. We will be after the rest of the games.
Right, well, for just this question alone, I don't think much of it, because he was walking through a car park, somebody ran over to him, answered this. He had nothing prepared, which somebody in that position, they can't make a comment without having anything prepared. So I wasn't surprised. Do I think he's a parasite? Yes. Was I surprised? No.
Okay. Right. We're going to move back into the matches, lads. So
you didn't forget.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I was like, oh, I'm not going. No, I'm not forgetting it this time. Right, lads, we're gonna fly through the rest of these, because again, I do want to talk a little bit about the United thing. So, Wolves and Brighton, lads. 9-4 for Wolves. Big price actually. 11-5 for the draw, and 13-10 for Brighton. Paddy, what do you reckon? Score prediction and goal score, please.
I'm going to go for a Brighton win. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Brighton win, and Danny Worlby or Welbeck to score first.
Water?
I'm going to go for a Brighton win as well. I'm going to go for 2-0 Brighton. And is it Gross or Grob? I can't.
How do you pronounce it? Yeah.
Gross.
Gross. It's the funny bay.
Yeah. Connor?
Called Wolves dropping points against West Brom last week. It was a shite game, so I'm going to call another shite game this week. I'm going to say 0-0.
Oh, interesting. Mel?
1-1 draw and Welbeck.
I've gone with a Wolves win, lads, and I know they've dropped points. I just don't think they're going to do it again. I think this might be a game where they just kind of show a little bit of something. I think there's a few players that might want to put themselves in the shop window, the likes of Neto and stuff like that. I think there might be opportunities there for the likes of them, and especially Traore as well. So I've gone with a 2-1 win for Wolves. Jesus, that's a fucking tongue twister. And I'm going to say Traore to score.
2-1 win for Wolves and Welbeck to score.
So I've gone. So what am I saying? United and Villa here, lads. 2:05 on Sunday. Villa are 7-2. The draw is 14-5, and United 3-4. A decent price for United. Paddy, again, like I said, we are going to be talking about United and the shenanigans. So just a quick one about the game, and then score prediction and scorer, please.
Yeah, I was about to say United are full of confidence at the moment. I think if the Liverpool game had went ahead the weekend, we would have beat them. But then I'm looking at the match tonight, although it's not the first 11 that we'd usually play.
It's 2-0, Paddy.
Made a couple of changes at half time in this game. But so for the weekend, I won't waste too much time. I'm going to go for a 2-1 United win. And I'm going to go for Rashford to score first.
Okay. What?
I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think United will have the second place wrapped up this game. And I'm going to go with El Ghazi to score.
Come on.
Connor?
2-1 United and Mason Greenwood.
Paddy, I don't know if you heard it, but Connor gave you that update about 15 seconds ago.
I didn't hear him, actually.
Yeah.
It's good to never listen to him, isn't it?
Well, what do you reckon?
2-0 United and Mason Greenwood.
Okay. I'm going to say 2-0 to United. They have been kind of poor lately. And I'm going to say Cavani to score. Right, lads, on to the next one. West Ham and Everton. Again, this is a juicy fixture. We usually would spend a bit more time on it, but we are running low on time there. So 4:30 on Sunday, West Ham 13-10. The draw is 12-5 and Everton 2-1. Again, good prices all around. Man, I'm coming to you first. What do you reckon on this one?
I'm going to go with West Ham 2-1. And I will go with Mikel Antonio.
All right, nice. Connor?
1-1 and Souček.
War? It's like a fucking 10 seconds delay here. War.
He's in Afghanistan by satellite phone, but looks like
Paddy?
Are you looking for me?
Yeah.
No, you got to
Sorry,
Like, it's not many waters around, like.
I had to mute my mic. I had to mute my mic, so that's not my fault. So I'm going to go for an Everton win. I'm going to go for Sigurdsson to score a penalty and win it 1-0.
All right, nice one. I love Water's predictions. They're always so specific. Like, Paddy, what do you reckon?
1-0, sorry, for West Ham, and Jay Lings to score.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've gone with a draw here, lads. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw, and again, I do think Lingard's going to score, and I also think Richarlison's going to score. So I've gone with 2 scorers for that one. So I'll move on to the next one, lads. 7 o'clock on
Who's scoring
Sunday.
first, though?
Make me commit now.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Richarlison to score first.
Oh.
Imagine I got that one right. That'd be class. Right, lads. Fucking 7 o'clock on Sunday. Arsenal and West Brom. 4-9 for Arsenal, 7-2 for the draw, and 6-1 for West Brom. Paddy, coming to you. Score prediction and goal scorers, please.
I'm going to go slightly dependent on the result for Arsenal tonight, but I'm going to go for a draw because, again, Big Sam loves playing against Arsenal. 1-1 draw, but I'm going to go for Arsenal to score first and Pepe to score.
Okay. War?
I'm going to go for West Brom to win 1-0 because Arsenal are shy, and Callum Robinson to score.
Okay, Connor?
2-0 Arsenal, Pepe.
No.
Yeah, 2-0 Arsenal and Aubameyang.
I've gone with a 2-1 win for Arsenal, and I've gone with Saka to score. Right, on to the last game, lads. We have games on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I think, as well, but we're going to be stopping here. This is a full list.
Fuck those games.
Yeah. There's actually a good game on the Wednesday. I can't remember what it is at the moment, but Chelsea, Arsenal. Oh, actually, you know what? We're going to extend it. And then there's actually on Tuesday, United and Leicester. So there is 2 really good games that we're not looking at. Maybe, I don't know if any of you want, we can do some sort of Instagram live and then just have a quick chat at some stage, maybe over the weekend or something like that. Yeah. Right, Paddy, give us a score prediction on this one. Fulham and Burnley. Fulham are 6-5, 23-10 for the draw, and 23-10 for Burnley.
0-0.
Love it. Straight in
First
there.
goal scorer?
War?
we all know I have a severe hatred for Fulham, just to spite Connor. So let's go with a Burnley win. Chris Woods to bag a hat-trick.
Love to see it. Connor?
Fulham 1-0.
He's turned. He's turned.
What do you mean I've turned?
Because you were always saying that they weren't getting relegated, they were going to stay up.
Yes, that's why I said the Fulham win.
No, because they're gone down.
I'm still backing them to win.
I'm saying they're going to win.
I don't get what I'm saying.
No one does, obviously.
No, you would have thought if they were going down. Oh, you were saying they were going down.
Are you still celebrating 40th, Connie?
Yeah, sorry, yeah. No, now I understand what you're
Get him
saying.
in a nursing home.
Is that the Grey Goose in the corner?
Go on, yeah, so 1-0 Fulham, is it?
And Lookman, yeah.
Mel?
1-0 Burnley and Chris Wood.
Lads, this is going to be 0-0. Mark me words. No goals in this one's going to be fucking absolutely poor. Right, lads, we're finished the games. So, shall we do the ultimate squad, or should we talk about United, lads?
Run through the ultimate squad quickly, really. Finish on United, maybe.
Right, okay. So we're going on to the ultimate squad here, lads. So,
Yeah, gotta win.
So I just want to
Resounding win.
I just want to call this competition an absolute fucking shambles.
I said that week 1 when I was up against the Kardashians.
Well, look, I'm now calling it because that is exactly what it is. So I'm going to share the screen, lads. We're going to have a current look at the table. I think it's an absolute farce. Look at me there.
Champions League spot. Oh, come on.
Look at me there. Right down the bottom.
Love it.
I'm not liking it. I did feel I was going to be there, but I got a glimmer of hope and I had that dub, but that was about it. Lads, we're going to look a quick run through the results of last week there. So week 4, we had Lawler and Chris. Chris bashed them there 72% to 28. Then we had Warren Connor. That was a tight one. 4% in the difference. Bale. 6%, sorry.
Gareth Bale in that one.
Interesting win for you there, Water. I can't see how people are picking your team, to be honest with you.
I need to start sharing that on Instagram myself.
Yeah, well, if you had to share it, you definitely would have got a win there.
Share anything.
You did share it, spoofer. I saw it on your own story, you little rat.
I didn't say vote for me or anything. I wasn't voting.
You shared it. That's what I'm saying. I need to start sharing it.
Last game, lads. This is an absolute fucking shambles.
And
I'll tell you why this is a shambles.
Paddy Kardashian.
I will tell you why this is a shambles, right?
No, hold on. Let me say something first. Before you say this, when you played against Chris a few weeks ago, you offered to give money away to the listeners if they voted for you. So don't start
because
this getting people to vote for you.
Because it was Chris. Chris has about 50 fucking million followers on Instagram. So
when
I knew he was
going to
podcast,
you have 10,000 followers on the podcast.
It doesn't matter. They won't vote for me. No. I need personal votes. That's what I need. I need people to do me personal favors. I got a message, right, on the Footballbets4u fucking Instagram page with a screenshot of that fucking thing saying, please vote for Paddy. Because Paddy went through every single one of his fucking contacts and sent it
in 20 to them all. 20. That's all I have is 20 contacts.
But in fairness, Collie, you have Ivanovic in your team. What more do you want?
Yeah. That again, I was expecting to be bottom of this league because of Ivanovic, but I just think it's disgusting. The integrity of the league is a shambles. And I don't care if I come last because and you know what I was going to do? I was going to say
away into a European Super League next. Wait, you see now.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Ollie, can I ask a question to the group?
You can.
If they were picking a Premier League team, right, would they have Bale or Ivanovic? Which one would they select in the starting 11?
Neither are very good at left wing.
Bale, though, yeah.
Yeah, but you've got better options than Bale.
You have better options than fucking Ivanovic.
Yeah, I know, but you have to weigh up who's the better, who's going to be the more effective, who's going to be the more beneficial there if you swap out Ivanovic for Gary Neville, or if you're going to put fucking Ronaldo on the left instead of Bale. Like Bale, like you get rid of Bale. You don't lose much in terms of like ability when you bring in Ivanovic instead of Gary Neville.
Don't listen to the fella who's last in the league war.
Listen to the guy that's in the Champions League final. Fuck you.
You're not.
Lads.
You're shit at football.
Shut up.
You're not in it.
I'm going mental.
I'm going off this topic, right, because I'm not spending any more time on this bullshit of a competition. It's a shambles. Paddy, are we doing the draw for next week? Or will we do that on Instagram during the week?
Actually, it's an excuse for Instagram. We can run through the games as well.
Yeah, okay, right. Fair enough.
That means he hasn't got it ready.
I know I have it ready here.
No, we're an hour. We're an hour and a bit. We're well over the hour here, so we're going to move on. So, lads, there is another thing that we did want to discuss on this week, and it was.
Please tell me you have an animation for it.
No,
I
don't. I've just got a little. I've just got that. So, lads, obviously we seen what was going on here. Massive peaceful protests, as they were supposed to be called. Which turned into riots and destruction, chaos. One policeman getting stabbed in the face and having to receive medical attention. A couple more injured, I think, and then I believe a couple of people arrested after that. There has been a lot of talk that doors were left open for them to do it. Stuff like that. Again, I don't really believe. I've seen a video of some guy booting a door down, so I don't believe the doors were just left unlocked and they were allowed to walk in. I do believe when everyone got in, everyone was like, the security didn't do anything. There was no way they were going to be able to do anything because they were completely outnumbered. But I do want to
security man. You seen a lot of hooligans running at you. You'd open the door for them as well.
No, fucking right. I like these security guards are not 22-year-old fucking beasts. These are 50, 60-year-old men who are just doing a little bit of security.
They're also probably being paid a tenner an hour. You're not going to put your life on the line for a tenner an hour.
Not worth it. So, lads, one thing I wanted to say and get across on this was, I think it's a shambles from Sky Sports to allow Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher to basically incite these riots. And I don't care that people can be like they're voicing their opinion. They didn't ask anybody to riot, right? That's fair enough. But Donald Trump done the same fucking thing, and people rioted.
This photo's fist bumping the rioters.
Exactly. So, like, I am 100% against what fucking Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher are allowed to do, and not an eyelid was bat at them. Nothing came out. Nothing from Carragher or Neville to say, look, apologies, we may have gone over the top, because that's what I think they did. They completely incited, and I just think it was disgraceful. I don't know how to put it. I just think it was disgraceful. That's the only way I can put it. Paddy, obviously being a United fan, what did you make of it? Like?
Yeah, my issue about talking about tonight was you made a couple of comments about United being a joke of a club since Ferguson left.
I just think they are a joke of a club since Ferguson left there.
Since Ferguson left, up until Solskjaer came in, I would 100% agree with you. We were an absolute joke.
Like I would.
And again, let me explain that. It was because we had a discussion a few weeks ago about how important the manager is, and could any manager jump in to say that Barcelona team?
Yeah,
that Pep Guardiola, and they probably couldn't do a good job. But when a manager comes into a club like Manchester United, like Solskjaer has done, and he kind of brings back the culture that Ferguson had there, and you actually see things improving, that's, I think, the mark of a really, really good manager. And that's when he's turned the club around into actually a decent club again. I think there's a lot of things that were catalysts for last weekend with the protests. COVID being one of them. I think we seen 10, 15 years ago when the Glazers first came in, the green and gold protests, and even the players supporting it. David Beckham running out into the pitch wearing a flag, or the scarf.
Yeah.
We really didn't like it at the time. And we felt that nothing could be done. They start pumping lots of money into it. But again, the frustration grew because the money that was being pumped into it was being pumped into by non-football people, by Ed Woodward, which again was building frustration again. For years we were saying he shouldn't be in the role, and he was still in the role, and that kind of took the spotlight away from the Glazers, because everybody hated him rather than the Glazers, because he was the conduit through what the Glazers were doing to the club. So the fans turned their anger towards him, and the weekend was a disgrace. I pity the 95% of supporters there that were there to actually do good for Manchester United, because the 5% that were hooligans absolutely ruined it for them. Absolutely ruined it.
I was all for the protest in terms of what they were protesting against and what it was all about, but it did get completely ruined by that.
I could see what Jamie Carragher was saying, considering Hillsborough and what happened in the papers the following day with Hillsborough. And he was trying to put the point across that, yeah, the majority of people here are good people protesting, but there's always a few idiots that will give the tabloids an excuse to write rubbish.
Yeah.
And that's all they'll focus on. You know, they'll focus on the policeman that got injured and, you know, the breaking and entering, which is disgraceful stuff, but it's only a minute minority of what actually was going on the weekend. The rest of it was like, you know, as you could see, as the week went on, then United Supporters Trust coming in and they're setting up, like they're trying to go against the brands that sponsor Manchester United.
Yeah.
You know, they say they won't buy their products, and that's the only way the United fans are going to be able to get rid of the Glazers, is they stop going to the matches when they can go to the matches, and they stop buying the sponsorship products. Say you know, because other than that, stop buying the jerseys.
Yeah.
You know, they won't get a sponsor anymore, and that's the only way to get the Glazers out. You won't get it by standing outside the stadium. You really won't, because they're in America. They don't give a shit.
They don't give a rat's. They really do not give a rat's. As far as they're concerned, once their pockets are being filled with money, that's all they care about. They don't care about the integrity of the club. They don't care about the reputation of the club.
They don't care about the fans. Like this European Super League, United led that, supposedly.
Yeah.
They led the European Super League. And it's so disappointing because they let the manager down, because again, as I said, he's been dragging United back up from the dirt, because the club was a joke of a club for years and years since Ferguson left, and he's been severely let down. And I just hope there's some, what Neville was talking about bringing legislation in to stop clubs having the power to do stuff like this.
Apparently something was put forward for it, like
fans forum in England that's been set up. Yeah, that's the stuff that needs to be done.
Yeah.
The protests, great, but stop buying tickets, stop spending money on United. That's the only way you're going to get rid of them.
Yeah. Malin, what did you reckon?
Just the two things that Paddy said there. Lastly, he said it earlier on, and like that's never going to happen, Paddy. Like the fans, you're going to have like the millions and billions of fans that United have. You're never going to have every single fan stop buying the jerseys or stop attending games, because for so many fans it's so hard to get a ticket to United. So for the like minority of fans there that kind of went in onto the pitch and tried to stop everything, that's fine, but there's always going to be people behind them that will attend the game and are going to spend hundreds when they attend the club store.
Yeah, but what's going to happen is, as well, if you get, say, 5,000 fans that stand outside a stadium and say, we're not going in, it nearly becomes then like you're passing a picket if you go to the match. And you become a scab if you go to the match.
Yeah, but you're gonna have that, and people are gonna walk past them, and they're gonna be like, they're gonna associate them with that kind of bunch of lads or whoever it was that kind of jumped in and injured the security guard or the officer, whoever it was.
They weren't there to protest.
The right thing, I think, happened in terms of they went in and they stopped the match from happening. That's how you stop the Glazers getting money. They prevented a match going forward. They prevented money coming into the club there. Like, fair enough, they went out onto the pitch, but they didn't do any harm onto the pitch. As we seen, there was one or two who threw flares up at the Sky pundits, and if you see the videos, like I think Roy Keane said, sure, that was aimed at Carragher. Like you can see the fans on the pitch, they're chanting at Carragher and they're calling him a scouse, whatever, like so and so. But for me, they did do the right thing. They went in and they prevented the game from happening. The biggest game with the most eyes on the game, Liverpool.
They could have done that from outside.
No, they could have.
The game wasn't. I don't think the game was stopped because of what happened in Old Trafford. I think the game was stopped because of what was happening at the hotels. Yeah,
but it's all. I think with the fans going onto the pitch, it's had a massive impact because, fair enough, they didn't stay too long either. But like you've gone into a stadium where it's supposed to have all this security, and you've let the United owners, the players, the managers know that you're not moving and you don't want this game to go ahead. That's, for me, I think that was the right way to do it, was completely stop that game from happening. And I do think you're right. It could have happened from outside, but it may not have happened from outside, because you can see the amount of kind of police force that showed up and they got the fans away. The fact that they actually broke into the stadium, whatever way they done it, they got into the stadium, and that had a massive impact. I know the fans were outside the hotel with the players, but the fact that they actually went into the stadium, I think, had a massive impact on that game.
I think it's too far. I talked tongue in cheek a couple of weeks ago about the Liverpool fans putting something through the Real Madrid window, and I said they should be banned from Europe. They should have been punished for it. And I'd say United should have been. I think the points should have been given to Liverpool the weekend to deter something like that happening again.
Take it.
I thought it was disgraceful.
I got that in writing, Paddy.
The Premier League, Paddy, are looking at this and are like, well, you try to jump out of our league. The Premier League aren't going to punish United in a way of give Liverpool 3 points. Liverpool tried to jump out of the league as well.
But if you don't punish it, then it just happens again.
But
you have to punish it.
But I think it should be happening. It should happen at their next home game. It doesn't matter who it is.
You're saying it should happen again. Again, there was that's criminal damage that they caused when they moved the stadium, and they hurt this man. Like, it's not going to be a peaceful protest. We can talk about this peaceful protest shit all we want. It wasn't a peaceful protest. When they broke in and they hurt people, they overturned cars at the hotels. Yeah, they're the idiots. And
that's completely fair.
If you don't punish the team, if you don't take the points off of the team, those idiots will continue to come and do the same thing over and over again.
But the fans would probably like that to happen, Paddy, as well. They'd probably like to see points being deducted. That's them even making a bigger point that they're causing United not only money in the Glazers' pockets, but they're actually damaging the team by them losing 3 points. I'm not saying that next week, if there's a home game for United, they should go and do more kind of damage to like innocent police officers who are there to do their job or turn over cars. I'm not saying they should be doing that, but like you said, they should be going outside the stadium and prevent the buses from getting in to the stadium.
Let me put a question to you. How do you think clubs should be penalised for having fans that cause damage to anything? You know, again, the Liverpool supporters with the European nights, and they're throwing stuff at the bus, smashing cans through the windows. The United fans this weekend. How do you stop that other than taking points away, banning them from something? You know, it's like there needs to be some sort of a deterrent, or else they'll just keep doing it, and it'll just get worse and worse.
I think the only way that it will happen.
Do you know why they allowed it? Do you know why they allowed it? It was the fight against the Super League. Why would the Premier League punish fans for doing something that's in their favour? Like, they're punishing. Like, the whole idea that they went onto the pitch is just more of a symbolic thing, that the fans were taking back football, because this is what they've been trying to do, is like, it's the sport of the people and all this stuff. But in terms of, that's the only symbolic part of getting onto the pitch, is that they were taking back what they owned. The Premier League aren't going to go against what the fans were doing. Sky Sports didn't go mad at the fans.
The criminal aspect of it, the Premier League have to for the criminal aspect.
But why didn't Sky Sports report that a police officer was injured? Why did they not report that the car?
Because that's a criminal act. They can't.
But
they can't talk about stuff like that.
Then why did they not?
But they incited this. Yeah, like I'm 100% with what Warren's saying there. They're completely like, they've brushed that little incident, but it's actually a massive fucking thing. It's actually probably the biggest thing that's come out of that, is the fact that somebody got fucking stabbed in the face, and that is the only thing that I am focused on as a non-United fan, non-Liverpool fan. Right? I don't care if the match got fucking called off. Some fella got stabbed in the fucking face. Like, do you know what I mean? Over a fucking football match. Like, it's disgraceful, it is, and there's no excuse for it. And you can say, oh yeah, but look, that's only one thing. There was 20,000 people at the stadium and 19,000 people. No, I'm just saying in general, like, people are kind of brushed over
against it.
Yeah, exactly.
Had no mention of it, and the only reason they didn't mention it was because
but they did.
They didn't. I watched
Neville
the
and
whole
They
Carragher
covered
didn't.
it.
Neville
They
and
covered it
Carragher
correctly,
didn't.
though.
But
But
Collie,
Jonas and the other lad were both against what was saying. They kept saying, that this can't be happening. And even Jamie Carragher said, "Oh yeah, no, it's
Jerry
a different
Carragher.
point of view or whatever." And he's like, "No, it's not. Who's the host? Who was the host on Sunday?
Dave Jones.
Dave Jones. Yeah, you could see he was annoyed and he was totally against
Yeah,
the
he
Riots.
was pissed off. Yeah.
Totally pissed off. And so was Souness. So you can't say Sky Sports were pro. It's just Neville and Carragher will get more airtime on social media away
But
from
hold
Sky
on as
Sports.
well.
Even.
Like Graham Souness coming out and saying it's a disgrace and all this thing about like the bottle being thrown. Like it was said, I think Carragher or Neville brought it up. Like he went
Lazy
when he
bullshit.
played in Turkey and brought a flag
He
out
ran,
the
he
middle
ran the pitch and put
Yeah.
a flag
of
down
their
the
fiercest
circle.
rivals and planted a flag in the middle of the pitch,
What a gent.
provoking other fans to cause riots. Like he should have no say in this when he was playing in his footballing days, done things that were just as bad himself. Never mind fans. He was kind of provoking rival fans, and fair enough, players will do it now on social media or whatever.
The social media is a massive thing, though. Like anything you do is gone. It's viral. Like
For me, Collie, the question I have for you in terms of what you said about Carragher and Neville, like what do you think they should have said?
I don't think they should have said that. I think they should have just like they were calling, right? So they're gonna say, right, fair enough, stop this fucking Super League happening, right? The Super League stopped. So like then it became a thing about, right, hold on a second now, right? So Neville got protective of his fucking club, Salford City. So you could see that obviously they stopped the riots, or sorry, they stopped the Super League from happening. And then they still proceeded with riots after and peaceful protests to get rid of owners. But, like, what do they want? So they're asking, like, all right, we need to get these fucking owners out because they're a liability for this to happen again. They know this isn't going to happen again because there's absolutely no way that it's going to get put through with the reaction that they've got from the fans this time. They know that there's no way they can put it through because if something like this happens, they don't get any fan support from it.
Yeah, but like Neville and Carragher are put in a position where, like, as Paddy said, they get the most media attention on Instagram or all social media. Like they're put in a position where they have to kind of they're talking the most about this situation, and they're the most upset.
They shouldn't be allowed to go and fucking have a half an hour rant on Sky Sports.
Their club
Let's talk about Sky
legends.
Sports here. No publicity is bad publicity. Once they're getting clicks, once they're getting views, because I don't agree with what they were saying either, because Gary Neville was allowing his emotions talk for him on Sunday. He wasn't taking into account, he wasn't thinking about it logically the way we're talking about it now and saying, yeah, the riots were completely wrong. The criminal acts were bad. He was just still inciting, saying other fans need to follow the suit here, need to follow suit with Arsenal and United. And he was saying that like every club around the country should be doing this, which was crazy, absolutely ridiculous.
He's not saying it, Paddy, in a way that they should be doing the criminal damage. He's saying that they should be doing.
But it comes
hand in hand.
Of course, he wasn't saying that.
He's not shouting out to these. He's not shouting out to peaceful protesters. He's shouting out to people to make noise and do whatever they have to do to fucking hit the news. That's what he's doing.
There's no way he's shouting out for fans to go out and do some damage to.
Of course, he's not. But by him saying you should all go out and protest, you're always going to get the 5% of protesters that cause the trouble. Always.
Yeah. There's no way around it.
Well, what his better point was about, the fans forum and the government for making new legislation to prevent clubs from doing what they're doing with the European Super League. That was a good argument. But not go out and, because, again, this is me sounding a bit Mother Teresa here, but there's families, there's kids at these protests. Yeah. And then you have these hooligans going on. So what happens the next time it comes out that a kid gets trampled on or, a riot happens and there's a crush or something like Hillsborough or something happens again. And then everyone's like, oh shit, we shouldn't have protested. Yeah. Because there's a very real possibility that something like that could happen. So I don't think it is the answer.
Connor, I just want to get, we haven't heard much from you about it. Just I want to hear what you have to say on it as well. Like, obviously being a Liverpool fan.
Look, there's very, very rarely you get peaceful protests as an overall. No matter what the peaceful protest is over, if it's over fucking veganism or going to war or the government or football, you're going to have, as Paddy said, a 2, 3, 4% who are just in it for the wrong reasons. They have no intention of being there to back a protest, but they see it as an excuse to loot, vandalize, cause chaos, do whatever they have to do just because they see it as a free pass. It was bound to happen eventually. I think Neville and Carragher, great character.
He
is some character. Didn't help things, but I also don't know how much information they had when they were obviously given their bid on it. I don't know how much they knew. They obviously knew people had broke into the stadium and flares were thrown at Carragher specifically. I don't know if they knew what was going on at the hotel or if it had been announced that someone had been stabbed up until then. Not defending them. They shouldn't have obviously said what they had said, like the lads had pointed to already. I think it's enough has been done at this stage to warrant some kind of change at United. If it doesn't come, they're not going to sell.
You don't have I know the change the fans want is to have the owners out, but you don't have United's going to cost the goods of $4 billion to buy, because you pretty much have to buy the club and then you have to buy the Glazers' debts along with it. So you're not who are you going to have sitting there with $4 billion ready to buy a football team that haven't won anything in the last fucking 8 years.
A wealthy Arab man.
But that's what it is, and that's nearly like
you're not selling 1,006 for.
It's not around the possibility now to get somebody with $4.5 billion there. That'll cover your debts and all. United are half $500 million in debt.
You also got to look at it from a business point of view and say, do I want to go into a place where the fans are so volatile that all of a sudden they can storm the stadium and get games called off?
Yeah.
So there's a flip side to it. I think you're not going to push somebody into a purchase of a club unless all of a sudden the Glaciers say they want to cut it out and drop the price by $1 billion, $2 billion. But I can't see that happen because they still know, no matter what, as Mellon said, the club is still going to turn over money regardless of what the fans do. I do agree the protests, to a certain extent, they do need to be done. There's a better way of doing them. I think, as Paddy mentioned, going through the United Trust or whatever the supporters club is called is the right way of doing it, and having a supporter back.
Yeah, well, can I just say
version the same way as the trust that Shankly is doing at Liverpool at the moment? They sat and had talks yesterday with the owners.
Chelsea are now having a representative from the supporters club at all their board meetings. So this isn't just anything to do with Super League. This is their board meetings now. I think they're having 3 representatives from the supporters club at all their board meetings. So no bullshit can be happening behind the scene without it getting out to the fans.
Progress. Can I just, again, about the precedent of fans going onto the pitch and why I think the club should be...
1 sec. Erectile dysfunction is back, lads. What's the crack? Sorry, go ahead.
With the fans on the pitch, I think the club should be fined because it sets a precedence. And what you're going to get in a couple of weeks is the fans are starting to come back into the stadium. So is it okay then for them to start running from their seats onto the pitch?
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. How do you stop that?
So that's why you need to come down hard now.
Yeah, definitely.
Just to prevent that.
No, you need to make a statement that you have to, this can't happen, because if it does affect the club, if you love the club so much, Absolutely. You're not going to do something that's going to affect it in a way that's detrimental to their league position.
That works in the fans' favour. That's what I'm saying. The more money that they cost the club, the better. So if the Premier League come down hard on United and cost or fine them 150,000 or 500,000, that's a win for the United fans. They'll just do it.
Not money though. You can't do money. It has to be points.
No, it has to be
the same United fans will be complaining now come the summer when the Glazers don't dip their hands in their pockets to buy fucking Harry Kane or
£1 billion has been spent since 2013 when Ferguson left, lads, and not an eyelid
net spent.
Not an eyelid was being bad about that.
No, hold on, but this is what I explained earlier on. It wasn't that the money was being spent, but it was being spent by a Woodward, a non-football person. If you had a director of football in there, which the fans were screaming for, so that's where the frustration comes from.
It's not your money though, Paddy. It's somebody else's money.
His own money.
Sorry?
It's not your money. Somebody else's money. They can do what they
but that's
want.
where the fans' frustration comes from, though. We weren't. It wasn't good. The money wasn't being spent well. Or they weren't building the team. They were buying individuals.
You're all sucking Bruno Fernandes's flu.
Yeah.
No, that's what I said about. That's what I said about since Solskjaer came in. He's changed the culture of United.
Well, how much of a say do you reckon even Solskjaer is having in these signings? Like,
Well, I think there's been a big change at United because there's a director of football now. There's a technical director. Things have changed. Woodward's gone, and I think he would have had an input.
So so Woodward is gone now. So you're like the whole argument of United has been like, we're rotten
this time with the European Super League.
Yeah, no, that's fine, right? But we done the riots after the Super League stopped. So the whole thing was like, the club is rotten from the core. And we've heard Lawler on the podcast say it so many times that it's rotten from the inside out. And every time we've talked about it, Ed Woodward has been mentioned. Woodward is now gone, and someone else has to come in now and start taking charge of the transfers, the finances. Like, why would you call for the Glazers now when look, I know that they've put the club in debt and they're passing the debt onto the club and stuff like that, but they are still spending the money and the money is still available to buy players.
As a United fan, if the European Super League hadn't have happened, you could live with the Glazers being there.
100%. Yeah. And even now, you're going to have to, I think, live with them. And I don't think it's going to be the worst thing in the world. If you are still getting the investment to transfers, then I don't see the problem.
Again, it's all about the club being run properly. If the fans saying that the club is being run properly, like, you see, United were debt-free before the Glazers came in. They took a loan out for over $500 million, and that loan is still outstanding. And I think that's a big frustration as well with the Glazers. If they could get the club again debt-free, get a good structure in place from a footballing perspective, I think the fans would be happy even with the Glazers there, but they just don't see it. They don't see them as football people because none of the decisions they've made since they came in have been football decisions. They've all been business. They've took out $1.5 billion from the club without servicing the debt. They've been
I just want to ask you, right? So we always hear this thing from United fans. I just want to get to the bottom of it. I'm not being fucking smart when I ask you, right? We always hear this thing, right? There's two things in particular that we always hear. So, one, the club is being run poorly and it's rotten to the core, as we said there. And then the other thing is Solskjaer is changing the culture of the club, right? So, I just don't understand, right? So, you're saying the club is being run poorly. Is that only because you're finishing fucking 4th and 5th in the league? Like, because I never heard the club being run poorly when you were winning leagues and you were winning stuff.
That's because it wasn't being run poorly.
But
Ferguson called the shots when he was there, and even people saying the protests were still there against the Glazers, even to the last 3 or 4 years of Ferguson's reign.
No, I know that. No, and that's fine. But like, what have they done that's not being right? Like,
prime example is that Ferguson wanted to sign Sergio Aguero for 30 million at the time, and the Glazers said no. Prime example.
Right, but
that's when Ferguson was in charge. Paddy just said Ferguson called the shots.
Yeah. But
there's been lots of stuff like that with signings. But like, I wouldn't even go into the signings part of things. I think the main problem for me was that, again, we were debt free. They're just taking money out. They're not servicing the debt.
They're always going to be in debt. A club that big.
But you weren't. United weren't in debt before they came in.
But they were going to always have to be to get a massive investment.
No, you don't.
To get a massive investment.
The amount of money nowadays. And the amount of money they have taken out of the club, they could have easily serviced that. They could have easily paid it back.
I don't know.
But that's not my... To be honest, Joe, as a Manchester United fan, I never got that too heated about, and like the club is rotten to the core. I never got into all that, because I think, again, it's an over-exaggeration. I think it's people being probably too passionate in the sense that if I think about it logically, there was money being put into the club, but it was frustrating seeing it being spent poorly. Yeah. And the managers that were in place didn't really care about the club. When I talk about the culture of the club, Ferguson loved the club. Solskjaer loves the club. And I can relate to that because I can see he only wants good for the team and he wants good for the club. So with someone like him in place in there, things will move in the right direction. When Mourinho was there, he cared about himself. When Van Gaal was there, he cares about himself. David Moyes, he wasn't big enough for the job at the time. I think, to be honest, I don't think anyone would have been. I think anyone that went in there after Ferguson, it was a poison chalice. Yeah, anybody. Definitely. But Going back to you saying, like, you know, you don't understand what the big uproar about the Glazers is. I think it's just because you can't trust them with the club. Again, the European Super League, people were quietly moaning about them, but then the European Super League happened. The frustration of not being able to get in and see the club and do the protests. I think if COVID hadn't been happened and the fans could get in, you probably would have had another green and gold protest like you had originally but because we couldn't get into the stadium, that caused the anger for the weekend and the protests, and that's why it all went to shit.
Yeah, no, I get it. I just sick of hearing the same thing from United, where it's like, God, the club is run to shit. Like the main reason, like I always ask, like, what are you not happy about? Like, well, like fucking Ed Woodward has signed fucking bullshit. Like, he won't sign a player, he won't do this, he won't do that. Like, he's talk about so much about like the investment and stuff like that, and then like there's not an eyelid fucking bat at spending $1 billion on players. And like, I know you have bought wrong, but that's like, that comes down to, I know it's Woodward, but Woodward's leaving now, and again,
hold on,
I'll
tell you what then. Okay, so given the money, I remember when we signed Di Maria and the other lad from Monaco. What's his bleeding name?
Okay.
Yeah, and I was delighted. Absolutely, I was like, these are two fucking world beaters. Delighted, happy as fucking a pig in shite.
Yeah.
They didn't integrate into the team. The manager was gone a season later. We got a new manager in who started to rebuild again. He left because the thing was going poorly. And for me as a football fan, that was my biggest problem, because there wasn't a manager there that was able to build a team. And now even Solskjaer, if he didn't win anything for a couple of years, I'd be quite happy to leave him there, because I know he loves the club. He wants the best for the club, and you're seeing progress. Even if it's slow, I don't care. But under all these other managers, even Mourinho, he had the great season with Ibrahimovic there. Ibrahimovic got injured, left. The following season was an absolute write-off. And then you just see no direction for the club. He threw his hands up in the air. I don't care. But when things were going bad with Solskjaer, he was consistent. You know, he had a plan. He loves the club. And that's why I can't talk.
I thought Solskjaer lost his identity for a while in terms of tactics and what he was doing, but like, obviously he's got results out of it. Paddy, there's a comment in there for you. I don't know if you can just read that out. I think that one's for you.
What's that?
The comment sent in there from Robin Hood for you.
Right.
Can you see it on the screen?
Can I read it out loud for us, Paddy?
Read it, Paddy?
No.
No. Keep the
I just, like, again, lads, like, it's this thing where, like, I get what, like, people are like, they want to show their pride and their passion for the club, and they're worried about it. Oh, we're in so much debt. Just fucking live with the debt, lads. Everyone's
That's like your debt. Like, they're not asking you to pay the mortgage every week.
Exactly. And there's no, like,
Chelsea fan. Hold on.
But that's what I mean. Don't bite the fucking.
Or Melon over there. You want to pay someone's debt? Look after Graham.
Like, who's to say that you're going to fucking get an owner in there, and the owner that you bring in isn't going to want to fucking jump into this Super League again? Like, there's no guarantee that is like. So the Glazers, right? They went for it, and now it's failed. So now they know that it's failed. So now if you're going to get another billionaire owner in, he goes, no, let's not get this in the bush.
As Neville said there during the weekend, there was Project Big Picture last season.
Yeah,
you know, and the next time it happens, they just won't ask. They'll just do it.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyone else? Any comments on that to add?
Nope.
No.
Right, lads. We're going to move on to Connor. We were going to get a quick update on CryptoCon, but we're an hour and 40 in. So
everything is up this week.
There you go. That was good. We're going to move into the last part of the show there, lads, and it is.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's better.
The bets and the tips. Lads, who's got bets? Connor, have you got bets? You have 2 bets from you, do?
Yeah.
Paddy, you have your challenge bet, do you?
I do. Yeah, bit of an odd one this week.
Okay. What are you have done now?
No, I don't, but I can do an L 10-minute bet.
Okay. Melanie, you don't have that done now, do you?
no, nothing. No.
Okay. Lads, I'll throw some of mine out first, because I've got a couple of them there. So I'm just going to share my screen, so anybody that's watching on YouTube, again, if you are watching on YouTube and you're kind of just coming in and you're kind of catching glimpses, just we'd appreciate if you hit the subscribe button there, because kind of helps us out growing.
And smack your bell as well. That's what they say on YouTube.
Smack that bell.
Touch your bell.
Touch that little bell down. I think it's down there somewhere.
And then click the notify button afterwards on YouTube.
Yeah. Click notify. Lads, I'm gonna just show you a couple of bets that I've done out. So first one being the Premier League predictions that I came up with today. So I've just thrown £3 on it. I'm getting 11 grand back from this one, lads. So if I get all my predictions right, I'm getting 11 grand. So I've gone with Leicester to beat Newcastle. I've gone with the draw between Leeds and Tottenham. I've gone with the draw between Sheffield United and Palace. I've gone with City to beat Chelsea. Liverpool to beat Southampton. Wolves to beat Brighton. United to beat Villa. The draw between West Ham and Everton. Arsenal to beat West Brom. And a draw between Fulham and Burnley. Lads, I'll jump into my second bet. So I've done a 5-fold. I've stuck €2 on it. 180 quid back, so 90 to 1. So I've gone with Coventry and Millwall to draw. I've gone with Forest and Preston to draw. I've gone with Sunderland to beat Northampton. I've gone with Portsmouth to beat Accrington. And I've gone with West Ham and Everton to draw. I'll just try one more, lads. So I've gone with a 9-fold fiver on it. 877 quid back. QPR and Luton to draw. I've gone with Exeter to beat Barrow. Bolton to beat Crawley. Forest Green to beat Oldham, Newport to beat Southend, Tranmere to beat Colchester, Hartlepool to beat Maidenhead, and Sutton to beat Weymouth, and Dagenham and Redbridge to beat Whalestone.
You've got no fans.
Hopefully they don't get a result. Paddy, do you want to throw us out yours?
Yeah, it's a unusual treble this week. I have.
Are you sharing your screen or no?
No, I've got it on my phone this week.
Perfect. Okay, yeah. Go for it.
I've both teams to score in the City-Chelsea game, both teams to score in the Leeds-Tottenham game, and then 5 or more shots on target for Jamie Vardy and Iheanacho. And that's 16 to 1.
Interesting. And is that your challenge bet, is it?
Yeah, that's my challenge bet. I took a tenner on that, so that'll pretty much
160. Okay, nice one. So anyone that's watching
that hasn't for the old 10 to 1,000, is it?
Yeah. So anyone that hasn't been watching or isn't up to date with it, myself and Paddy are doing a tenner to 1,000 challenge. I'm on week 2. We keep failing, but we're going to keep trying. So I'm on to week 2 now. My first bet came in last week. I got 45 quid back from a tenner. So all 45 quid is going on a bet this week, and I will be showing it there in a few minutes. So, Connor, what have you got for me?
I've got 3 goal scorers for Saturday and then 4 draws.
Okay, give us your goal scorers.
3 goal scorers for Saturday. I've got Benteke to score in the Sheffield United Palace game. Anytime. I've got Foden to score in the City-Chelsea game. And then, as I said, I've got Thiago to score in the Liverpool-Southampton game. And that pays back at 90 to 1.
Ooh, nice one. So what, you have a fiver on that, is it?
I've got 2 quid on it. I've not
got nice.
Any power. But,
180.
If I get the 180 back, I'll be happy.
Cool. War, do you have one there?
Yeah, I just did some for the Chelsea City game. So Sterling and Pulisic to have 1+ shots on target each, 3+ corners each, and at least 1 yellow card each team is 10 to 1 on Sky Bet.
That's actually not a bad price, is it?
Sterling and Pulisic are likely to start, given that neither of them started midweek. So 10 to 1. Not bad for a fiver. And then a draw at half time is 1-1. That's at 11 to 2, which I actually think is a tasty price either for that one. And I think it's 7 to 1 in the Champions League final. Just looking at it there. I think 1-1 on either of them games at half time is a good thing to put your money on.
Good show. I'll just try another one of my own, lads. So I've got another 9-fold here for 5 on it, 810 returns, so 160 to 1. So I've gone with Barnsley to beat Norwich. That one, I've gone with Barnsley because Norwich have won the league, they're promoted, and Barnsley could do with a few points, sitting in, I think, 6th. They're fighting for a promotion, or playoff spot. So I've gone with Barnsley, a good price. I've gone with Bournemouth to beat Stoke, Brentford to beat Bristol City, Cardiff to beat Rotherham, Middlesbrough to beat Wickham, Cambridge to beat Grimsby, Carlisle to beat Walsall, Cheltenham to beat Harrogate, and Liverpool to beat Southampton. So that is that one. Connor, what is your 4 draws?
I've I was going to say, I've done something similar to yourself with regards to Norwich, but I've done 4 draws. It pays back at 150 to 1. I've got Barnsley and Norwich to draw the early game on Saturday, so that could fucking kill it straight away.
Yeah.
But as you said, Norwich champions, Norwich promoted, Barnsley needing something. Don't think Norwich are going to exactly bend over, so I'm putting a score draw on that. I've got Derby to draw against Sheffield Wednesday, Oldham to draw with Forest Green, and Southend and Newport to draw. It's at 150 to 1.
Nice one. No one else has anything else there, lads, is?
Nope.
Cool. I will show out my 10 to 1,000 challenge bet here now, lads. This is what I've gone with this week. I just want to get your opinions on this one. I've gone for 4-fold. Put all 45 quid on Hartlepool to beat Maidenhead, Sutton to beat Weymouth, Inter to beat Sampdoria, and Liverpool to beat Southampton.
Oh, that's a
Inter only need a draw to win the league, don't they?
Inter
Yeah,
won the
they
league.
They won
They've
the
already
league.
won
Inter
it.
bollocks, they've been hung over.
They've been on the session. That's a risky
No,
one, Colin.
I don't
They needed a
think.
point.
I think they're gonna win this one. I don't think there's gonna be much coming up from.
I don't know about
Sampdoria.
Liverpool.
Liverpool again. Like there is a slimmer of hope for the top 4, so I don't think they'll want to kind of risk it.
Southampton on a good run of form to have them 1-12.
Who?
Southampton.
Oh yeah. So yeah, look, I know you're saying about Inter as well, but Sampdoria really don't have anything to play for. So I just think, although both teams have nothing to play for, Inter definitely have the much higher quality. In terms of Hartlepool and Sutton, both of them have a good chance of getting promoted. So they're going to be bulling for a win there. I think 7 to 10 is a good price on Hartlepool. So yeah, lads, look, that's €200 return on that. So if that wins, then 200 quid will be going on something. And that'll be interesting to see. Squeaky bum time after that one. So lads, that's pretty much it for the bets. And that's pretty much it for the podcast. So, lads, we may have something. So, I suppose we don't really know, but the fucking Robbie Keane prank may be going on to Lad Bible. Look, there's no point in not talking about it because it's what's going on in the kind of the background. Again, this would be a massive thing for the podcast if it does. They've obviously got 40 million subscribers and stuff like that. So great exposure for the pod if it does get onto it. We have sent it all across. We've all consented to the video being put on, and we're just kind of waiting now at this stage. So we could be in business. Like
we won't forget about the little people like erectile
dysfunction who's here.
Connor
every week.
Young and Floody as well.
Yeah. So great show, lads. Cheers. Erectile dysfunction. Thanks for coming back. So lads, look, we'll hopefully exciting things coming up in the next couple of weeks. Like I said, we're coming to the end of the season. I haven't decided what we're going to do in terms of podcasts. I might just turn it into, if you are up for it, I don't know who's still up for it, a kind of a more topic-based pod. Ran out of breath there. Jeez, that was embarrassing. So a more topic-based pod over the kind of the off-season, if that's what you want to call it. So lads, look, nice one for joining us this week, Melon.
Cheers.
War.
Sorry for being late.
Paddy.
United in the Europa League final. Come on.
And Connor.
Yeah, nice one, lads.
Lads, Chelsea are in the fucking Champions League final. It's the thing of dreams. Again, if anybody's watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the little notification bell thing. Give the video a like. Yeah, touch the bell down below. Just a quick one. Transfer debates when the season's over is a good one. That's a good shout from Abraham there. So there's a bell down here.
No, not Paddy. Not Paddy.
The subscribe.
It's a bell end.
Yeah. So lads, look, we're going to be back next week, same time, same place. So we'll see everybody then. All right. Cheers. Thanks, everyone.